It's your boy Big Ghost Rider, man. Legal Wars Live, y'all already know. Look, this episode number 97. That means 3 more times we will do a Tax to Rich tour live stream. You know what I'm saying? So we got one more tomorrow on Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday, man, it's a full day, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Pretty much what we got going on. We got two live streams on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start at 8 a.m. Eastern, and I think the second one is at 1 or 2 p.m. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. And then also on Saturday at 12 p.m. at noon. You know what I'm saying? New date, new time on Saturday. Or excuse me, that might be tomorrow. That is actually, let me see. Guys, I need to have my dates. I'm always jacked up. Yeah, that's tomorrow. New time, new day, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We will premiere We the People number 10, the vlog. So that's mission accomplished. That's 10 full-length vlogs. That's 101 live streams. I'm going to have 100 short stories up. So in 90 days, a time period where I would probably do about 120 to 140 videos, we have moved all the way across the city of New York, including New York Metro, 50 miles north of New York, out in Peekskill, man. We went to Long Island, Long Beach, you know what I'm saying? All across the city, bringing you guys great content, just as promised, the Tax to Rich tour. If you guys, as y'all come into the live stream, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Out here in New York City, man, we've been getting a whole lot of rain. And it's sprinkling and drizzling right now, so we're going to try to stay out here for as long as we can. But if necessary, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to move to a covered spot so I could bring you guys the content. Guys, let's go ahead and get started this morning, man. We talking about the temporary protected status of hundreds of thousands of Haitians, okay? If you guys don't know what TPS, basically that is because of the failure of the government, or maybe it's a natural disaster, or maybe it's famine, or maybe it's war. There's some kind of condition or situation to where an immigrant can request, protected status from the American government, okay? So guys, let me give you guys some numbers and some data, and then we'll get into the argument. So Haiti, okay? First of all, temporary protected status has ended for more than 300,000 Haitian immigrants, leaving them vulnerable to immigration and customs enforcement deportation following a U.S. Supreme Court ruling. So guys, if you don't know, just like I told you, temporary protected status is basically like, okay, Haiti it's not a war-torn country, you would say, or maybe some people will call it a war-torn country, but Haiti is a failed government, it's a failed country. So there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of Haitians that are having like a very difficult time with surviving, a difficult time with living, making ends meet. They suffering, they starving, famine, all of the above. We'll talk about that in a second. So basically, they come to the richest nation on earth, the United States, and they're seeking help or they're seeking aid. You see what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened. The United States, for a designated amount of time, provided them protection under the law. Not saying that we will allow you to become permanent citizens. That's going to be later for another judge or another situation. Not saying necessarily that we'll allow you to become permanent citizens, but we will allow you to stay in America for a certain amount of time, get a job, become a part of the American fabric. And I'm quite sure those people, those Haitians, TPS, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure the ones that have been successful and become doctors or teachers or lawyers, I'm sure they're thinking in their mind, man, come on, I came to the greatest nation on earth and I accomplished, so why can't I stay in the country? But of course, legally, if we talk about legally, their temporary protective status is ended, and it's 300,000 of them. So legally, they're set to become illegal immigrants very soon. Let's talk about Haiti. Let's talk about why those TPS Haitians are not in Haiti. Let's talk about Haiti for a little while. Guys, if y'all haven't liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell. We're trying to get those likes up this morning. Also, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, y'all jump down below in the comment section and y'all let y'all voices be heard. Guys, armed groups dominated an estimated 80 to 90% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and large portions of its regional territories. Guys, in Port-au-Prince, you have armed groups that control up to 90% of the city. That means the entire city. Guys, I've seen documentaries. I know some of you guys might have seen this documentaries of a Haitian gang leader named Barbecue. And so you got a gang leader named Barbecue that is controlling Haiti. That's what's going on on the ground right now. Look, in my mind, on first thought, I'm gonna give you several layers of thought this morning, but on first thought, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, they got temporary protected status from what? So when you see what's going on in Haiti, you understand what the temporary protected status from. Listen, I'm not finna get into an argument what the TPS come from originally. You know, we know about the earthquakes in Haiti. We know Haiti's been hit by a couple of hurricanes. You know, for a long time, it just seemed like the nation of Haiti, having a difficult time. President Trump called Haiti famously in his first term a S-hole country. How many of y'all remember that? That's what he called Haiti in his first term. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Haiti has had difficult problems for a long time, and what's going on in Haiti right now is that Barbecue, real talk, a gang leader named Barbecue running Port-au-Prince. So if you're giving them temporary protected status for something, they still need protection. I'm saying, in my mind, and we're going to get on that in a second, I'm going to start giving you guys my analysis, opinion, and strategy. But I'm saying, in my mind, I understand the legalities of this. I understand the politics of it. I understand President Trump's politics are different than President Biden. Some of y'all, especially Democrats, gonna argue me on this, but I would have to say that President Trump said Joseph Biden let all these people into America, illegal immigrants that shouldn't have been here. We know there is a lot of illegal immigrants that are here, too many that shouldn't be here. You understand that? But I'm saying, in President Trump's mind, he probably saying his argument is, hey, if Joe Biden would have let 20 illegals in the country, then I might not have a problem extending the protected status for Haitians for just a little bit. Because Joe Biden, I heard President Trump say this out his own mouth, let so many people in America, it's like we trying to get out all of those illegals he let in America in between his terms. So that's why he got ICE with 2,000 a day. They got missions to deport over 2,000 people a day. And that's President Trump's argument. What you guys think? Republicans, Independents, Democrats, y'all jump down in the comments and y'all let me know. I'm finna get started with the conversation. Do you guys think it's right for us to deport over 300,000 Haitians back to Haiti, to a nation in which your capital city, Port-au-Prince, has been controlled 80 to 90% by armed groups, and the main leader name is Barbecue? Imagine you get an opportunity to come to America, the greatest nation on earth, and you build wealth and you build prestige. You become a doctor. Yeah, there's examples of Haitian immigrants that became doctors. TPS status, you become a doctor in America. You can laugh all you want to, it's a fact. You become a successful person in America. You think all of those Haitian immigrants, you think, I did a live stream about this before. The argument that's being made by the lawyers of those Haitian immigrants, do you think all of them are drug dealers or gang members or scammers? You think that's what happened to all 300,000 of them? No, that's not what happened. If you don't know or you don't believe me, Google it yourself. Some of them were very successful. And in that short amount of time they've come to America, they've been very successful. And I'm saying you had to give them temporary protected status. You could say it was from an earthquake or a natural disaster, but I'm saying they still need the temporary protected status because their country has lacked an elected president since July of 2021. And I'm talking about this is Haiti right across the border. Listen, let's go ahead and get to the discussion. If you a MAGA person, if you a Rand Paul person, if you a libertarian person, if you a JD Vance person, if you a Elon Musk person, your argument is if we're going to make America great, how are we going to make America great, Ghost, if we go around spending money we do not have, giving it to all these other nations? Listen, when President Trump, when Elon, when the Republicans, when y'all make that argument, I understand that and I feel that. Listen, we understand the problems that these nations have in their own country, but it is not the United States' responsibility. Make America great again, right? I'm saying, bruh, first of all, number one, I'm going to go with your argument and then I'm going to give you a greater argument. Y'all know how I get down. If I go with your argument and say that it is not America's responsibility, you got to do that all the way across the board. That's where some of y'all are wrong at. We talked about that yesterday. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but the rules have to apply to everyone. The rules can't just apply to a selective group. The rules can't just, you understand that? If you a lawmaker, or you a judge, or you a president, or you a preacher, you someone who make rules or administer rules, we need to see those rules applying to everyone because we believe in our hearts that God is no respecter of person. I was speaking to my mom yesterday and I was talking about God. People look at God as a man. Mama, you have a situation where there's a clearly defined truth and there's a clearly defined lie. A clearly defined truth and a clearly defined lie. Where do you think God is at? The Bible's clear. God is the truth. Not God gonna be on the side of the truth. He's not a man. Not God gonna stand over there with the truth. He is the truth. So whatever you saying out your mouth, that's truth. That's where God resides. God is a spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. I'm not gonna preach a sermon this morning. But he's not a human. It's a spiritual thing. Truth, man. You understand where I'm coming from? So that being said, I just want to be clear about this. Like, if we understanding the legalities and the arguments of these lawyers moving forward, they can argue that Haiti is still torn. Haiti is still in a bad spot, in a bad position. But President Trump wants to get rid of the immigrants. We're not going to say he racist. If y'all down in the chat and y'all talking about President Trump just want to get rid of the Haitians, and he'll go to a black country in Africa, South Africa, and he'll bring freely the white people. We're not going to talk about if President Trump racist. I'll let y'all do that in the comments. We'll get to that when I get to the comments. What I'm trying to tell you guys this morning is I don't even know. I know the legality of it. I know President Trump. I know the Supreme Court. I know the Constitution, and I'm a legal person. We got to abide by that. But what I'm trying to tell you, man, is I don't know if, guys, is Haiti, is it even to send the people back to their country? President Trump, I understand your argument. Joe Biden left way too many immigrants in the country and you trying to run them down and get them out. So in a situation, guys, this is like almost a gift or a present for Tom Homan and President Trump. And I know people like AOC and people up here who are in the fight trying to protect immigrants. I know they understand what I'm saying because they understand President Trump has given Immigration Customs Enforcement an unprecedented goal of making 2,000 arrests per day. And I believe that over policing and that overreach, that lack of training, that hyper aggressiveness has caused not only the President Trump's administration to get sued an unprecedented amount of times, but it's also caused a situation where ICE is over policing, overreaching, and harming immigrants and American citizens. So in a situation like that, where President Trump said 300,000 Haitians, you say, Ghost, it's not like the 300,000 Haitians are sitting in one neighborhood in Miami and he could just go, nah, but that just gives him a wider spread or a wider range of people he could go grab. Because he's trying to get immigrants out the country. And I mean, logically, you could say that you feel like the people gave him a mandate because, you know, one of his biggest things was about the illegal immigrants or the immigration or the lack of border security. And he got elected. So, you know, in his mind, he feels like he has a mandate to get those. But I want to talk to y'all about something today that's a solution to the problem. And the word I got for you today is the word compassion. That's the word I got for us today is compassion. Compassion. How many people in this live stream are born again Christians? Or if you're not a born again Christian, how many people in these live streams believe in human decency? Listen, I told somebody yesterday that I could not be a judge. Because if I seen a 21-year-old black young man standing before me who made some simple mistakes, or maybe not simple mistakes, maybe he made some mistakes that I just looked at like it was me when I was 21. And I'm saying I'm not gonna rule like I'm supposed to rule just for the due to that compassion. Too much compassion, there needs to be a balance on it, but the word for today is compassion. We talked about the war, we talked about America looking like a bully on the world stage, and the way that I believe that God counters that. With every single, this ain't just America, this ain't just the President Trump, we talking every single empire that has ever ruled on the face of the earth, from Napoleon. They all did the same thing. It's like they get a God complex, you get that ego, and it's just like, Biggie got a song, or it wasn't Biggie, it was Sean. He said, feeling invincible, about to take over the world. I can't be stopped. Not the feds or the freaking cops. Not even 18 shots could put an end to this terror. I'ma live forever because gangsters don't break. We just get plastic surgery and relocate. I'm saying, to me, in my mind, that's President Trump's song. Not just President Trump, that's every American president, that's their song. It's like a lack of empathy and a lack of compassion. Do not for 1 second think that Ghost Rider is some kind of coward, or Ghost Rider is a sissy, or Ghost Rider don't understand what justice or the administration of justice, God's justice, righteous judgment. You know what Jeffrey Epstein faced? Even when he died from that hanging in the jail cell, Jeffrey Epstein, they said he hung himself. We talked about this yesterday in the jail cell. Ain't nobody believe that, but we don't care. You know why? You know why? Because in my opinion, that was righteous judgment. Yeah, righteous judgment. They should have hung him before he killed all those children. I mean, before he might as well killed them, molested them, and messed them women up for the rest of their life. When they were children, they should have hung them then. Don't talk to me like I don't understand the balance of the situation. I'm not overly compassionate. I'm just compassionate like my Jesus. Compassion. That's what we talking about this morning. Yeah, we talking about Haitians. Yeah, we talking about TPS, but I'm trying to give you a strategy, the key to the solution to the problem. Listen, when some people hear me that they don't know me, they think that, golly, this boy just sound like some regular guy off the streets. Where you from, Ghost? You say you on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, but where you from, Ghost? You from Brooklyn? You from Queens? Just sound like a dude off the streets talking. But I'm saying, in our world, in our society, we have gotten too smart for our own good. I'm saying we got all the smartest, brightest people in the world running our country, and look what our country has become. We need simple solutions for these problems. Not just some stupid stuff somebody throwing out there. I'm talking about the right. When I tell you what I'm telling you, you gonna know, if you're not retarded, that what I'm telling you is true. The Bible said that wisdom is begotten of her children. That means a man who's wise, when he hears something wise, he's gonna recognize that. And I'm saying what I see that's lacking right now is compassion. We lacking compassion in our government. Compassion. Look, I write laws. I don't write laws. I'm sorry. I'm not a congressperson, so you can understand that I'm rewriting the law. I'm enforcing or I'm prosecuting a law that was already written. So there's one thing that the law tries to do. The law can't make you have compassion on someone. But we call disability laws compassion laws. It's like we write those laws to protect people who have a disadvantage out of compassion. That's the word today, compassion. Where is the compassion? And I hate to do this, because I feel like this problem we have is bigger than one president. That's why we can't never fix our problems from president to president. So it's bigger than President Trump. But what I'm trying to tell you today is that President Trump in a situation, see, President Trump, I'm sorry, Barack Obama didn't do this. And Joe Biden didn't do this. And George Bush didn't do this. And Bill Clinton didn't do this. But I'm saying in a situation, when President Trump first get into the White House, there's 500 tons. You know how much a ton is? 500 metric tons of food that would have fed millions of impoverished children for an entire summer. Think about that. As a human being, as just a regular person, I don't know these kids that's feeding this 500 tons of. I don't know these children. I don't have to know these children. But I'm gonna show you what compassion and empathy is. When I think about those children that's starving, when I think about those children that's hungry, you know what I see? I see my little niece. She ain't no little niece no more. They big nieces now. You know what I'm saying? I do got one little baby. I love that little thing. She knows she love her uncle. I think about my little niece or my little nephews. That's what I think about. When I see them kids that's hungry, you know what goes off inside of me, man? I think about, what if those were some children that I grew up with in church or in my community? 500 tons. You see what I'm saying? If you ain't never went through nothing in your life and you never went through no struggle, maybe that's why you won't have no compassion, because you don't understand how it feels to go to sleep at night with your stomach hurting. President Trump, he needs to see that. He needs to feel that. You understand that? He knows how I feel. He needs to know how I feel to go to sleep at night with your stomach hurting. And I'm saying, listen, there's situations, if you got a 46-year-old man and he taking fentanyl or crystal meth and he out here homeless, I'm saying you can have compassion on him or you might not have to have compassion on him. See how I got a balance? I know what I'm talking about. I'm correctly balanced here. You don't have to have compassion on a 48-year-old man who doing crystal meth and he homeless. You can. It's not wrong with it. I say be careful with it, but you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessary to have compassion on him. But what I'm saying is, you say, Ghost, why it's not necessary to have compassion on him? Because that situation that he in life, he got himself in that situation. You see what I'm saying? Why I'm gonna help you out if you're gonna take the money and go get fentanyl? That don't make no sense. But we talking about children. The thing when you start talking about children, it's not even a woman, a grown woman. We talking about a child. The thing when you start talking about children, it's hard for you to blame on a child the situation that they in life. It's hard to blame that on them. How's it a 7-year-old's fault in Sudan, Africa? That first, he was born in Sudan, and second, that his mama's poor, and third, his family can't feed him. How's his fault? We talking about compassion this morning. You want to be like Jesus, huh? You call yourself a Christian nation. President Trump stood up in front of the people and said when he dies, he hopes that he goes to heaven. He hope he has done enough. Y'all Democrats, when y'all hearing this right now, I know I got Democrats in this stream right now, y'all cracking up. They saying, boy, it ain't no way you gonna go to heaven. But you don't understand, God fair. God love your worst enemy as well. President Trump, when you stand before God, you're gonna have to give an account of your life. And I would say the thing that President Trump has done in his life, that is the most important thing he's done, I say. The thing that has affected more people in the world and America and Christians all over the world is be president. That's what he's done. The biggest accomplishment in his life is president. When he die and stand before God, you think the first thing God gonna ask him is, President Trump, did you balance the budget? That's what we think God care about from reading the scriptures, right? Ain't that what God care about? From watching the life of Jesus, walking around, performing miracles, healing the sick, raising the dead, President Trump said, is he going to heaven? Well, President Trump, when you stand before God as president, what's he going to ask you to give an account about? Whether you and Elon cut the national debt. That's what Jesus was talking about in the scriptures. When Jesus said, a new commandment I give unto thee, that ye love one another, he was talking about not, hey, see, Ghost, look, you don't be knowing what the scriptures talking about. You don't be knowing what you talking about, Ghost. You be twisting the scripture. Jesus wasn't talking about loving one another like you talking about. He was talking about loving your pocketbooks. And he was talking about balancing the budgets and loving your finances. Ghost, he's talking about, Jesus talking about loving your finances and making sure that you love all the billionaires and you give all the people because they create the what. Nah, that's not what Jesus was talking about. I don't know what Jesus y'all worshiping or praying or what heaven you trying to go to. That's the same thing when Jesus came, when he told the religious people, ye are your father the devil. Because you could clearly read the scriptures and see the life that I lived was more like what, if you talking about economics, it's closer to what AOC talking about than what 99% of y'all preachers talking about. That's Jesus was, I'm talking about social justice. He was feeding people, he was healing people, he was raising them for the dead, he was loving the unloved. That's what he taught us. He taught us, say the word with me one time, compassion, 500 metric tons of food to feed millions of children over the entire summer. President Trump trying to prove a point so bad, he said, and listen, I'm not going to take it out on him. And like, listen, the Democrats, they going to come at you, President Trump, mercilessly. They coming at you. Oh yeah, he a bad, they said you evil. How many people in this stream said President Trump evil? I've heard them say it 1,000 times that he's evil. But see, my goal here this morning isn't to determine, I'm not a judge. We talked about that yesterday. I'm not here to determine whether President Trump is evil. I'm going to have my opinion. You going to have your opinion. We can't prove that. You see what I'm saying? You could get the elements of evilness. The elements, he's got some of the elements of evil. But I'm saying to be fair, in his own mind, to play devil's advocate, you guys know I'm a litigator. You know I'm an arguer. To play devil's advocate, President Trump could have came in just like with the same mentality. We're going to get back to TPS in a second. That, hey, Joe Biden let way too many illegals in this country, so I got to get these illegals out this country. He might have came in saying, hey, the Democrats are giving away, or they doing too much, and I'm going to make America great again. And to make a statement, even the 500 tons of food that they giving away, giveaway. They talk about JJ's giveaway. The Democrats, that's all they believe in is handouts, handing stuff out. You talking about a 7-year-old baby who's starving in Sudan, Didi Sarson, that's not no handout. That's something different. We talking about compassion this morning. So I'm saying, even playing devil's advocate and looking at it from President Trump's angle, I don't understand how you burn 500 tons of food. We gonna have to stop after this 500 tons of food is gone. After this 500 tons of food is gone, Now we gonna start with our program and shut down USAID. Because what President Trump don't understand is you burning that 500 tons of food, that hurts your economy too. There's companies who shipping the food. There's farmers who, you understand, there's a whole line of chain. There's companies you talking about 500 tons of food, that's not no little bitty food. You talking about a ginormous warehouse or several warehouses where the food's stored at. That's a lot of food. I used to work in warehouses for Walmart distribution. So I understand that. I worked in a food where I understand how much food, that 500 tons, you gonna burn it. We talking about compassion. And President Trump, the reason he said he gonna burn the food is because we spending too much money. See, President Trump, you want to talk about going to heaven. How you go to heaven is you got to accept the blood of Jesus Christ as your personal payment of your sins. You got to accept Jesus as your personal savior. You got to ask for forgiveness of your sins and repentance of your sins. That's how you get to heaven. But once you become a Christian, and President Trump, you saying you already a Christian, once you become a Christian, you start to emulate Jesus. Y'all know Christian is just the word Christ, Christ-like. How you gonna be Christ-like if you burning 500 tons of food for the children? Those 500 tons, listen, you can have as much beef with President Obama, President Biden. Ghost, you don't know, like I know, they did me wrong. They did illegal stuff that's classified that I can't even talk about. I thought of everything you could think of or where you coming from, President Trump, and I still can't find one reason to burn 500 tons of food for children. I can't find no reason besides a lack of compassion. Because the reason you said you were burning the 500 tons of food is because we spending too much money. It's not our responsibility to feed these children. Ain't that what he said? So guess what? That 500 tons of food, it costs more money to burn the food than it did to send it out. What? You don't have to believe me. You could research for yourself. It costs more money for them to incinerate 500 tons of food to give it to the children. It costs more money to burn it. It ain't about saving money, you being vindictive. It's not about saving money, this is about ego and pride. It's not about saving money, you trying to beat Barack Obama at the expense of millions of children. Compassion, millions of children, compassion, millions of children. Imagine going up against the most evil. Imagine going up against the most evil empire in the United States. I want to say something right now to General Kane. Mad respect to you, General Kane. I'm talking to you for a second, baby. All my veterans in the stream, y'all double tap, yeah, show some love to the veterans, 16 million of us. Show some love to the active duty too, I'm sorry. Yeah, all of our military people. So I'm talking to General Kane. He the big dog over the military. Listen to me, baby. General Kane, I promise you what's coming. The Democrats, they got plans for President Trump. They got plans for him. And I'm gonna tell you why. The Iranians, every time Americans try to stop fighting, the Iranians come back and they start to fight up again. So we had a memorandum of understanding done, and we thought the memorandum had the war stopped. The Iranians get money, that's what they want, it's over with, and then out the blue, here they come. They firing at Apaches, they shooting at tankers going off the coast of Oman. They talking about they gonna charge a fee on international waterways. These people are crazy. So President Trump, like, no, I can't take that. And this part of it, like I said, I'm independent. I'm not political. It's what's best for America. What's best for America is for him he done stepped off into something that he shouldn't have stepped into. But now that you in it, we're not going to let you destroy our nation. You finna destroy our nation. You let them control that straight. Ain't nobody in the world going to have zero respect for America. Look at what Iran did. They went in there and attacked the strait, and they had a dumb president, and he just turned around and he let them have the strait. I'm saying, don't stick your foot in something if you're not gonna finish it. You shouldn't have went over there, President Trump, and did that in the first place. That's what JD and them was trying to tell you. Because you, Scott B, President Trump, when you went to Scott B and you asked Scott B and he said, do we have to do this right now? He was foreseeing something that you weren't seeing because you too caught up in something else or listening to somebody else. He know you gonna want to get back to the economy. He know you care about the stock market and gas prices and all the lights. He know you care about that. But President Trump is too late. He in the situation Iran, he got to get at Iran. We talking about compassion now, don't we? Talking about Haitian TPS. I'm going to get back to immigration in just a second. I'm telling you what the problem is compassion or lack thereof. So I'm saying now, President Trump said, okay, we going to stop firing on Iran after 11 days of heavy attacks. Mike Walsh come out and say, hey, we gonna back up and give diplomacy a chance to work, even though President Trump said we probably gonna be going through this for a year. President Trump, he done got the realization that this situation gonna carry on for a minute. So he said we gonna back up, we gonna give diplomacy a chance to work. That's what he said. That's what Mike Walsh said. You know what Iran did? They did just what Putin did when President Trump got on the phone with him and asked him to stop hitting Ukraine. They whatever you talking about, man, you talking about taking a break. We don't want no break. We want all the smoke. We think we could beat y'all. We trying to make y'all put boots on the ground. We trying to sucker you into coming and bleeding out your empire. Because whatever losses y'all had against that ragtag Taliban, well, this the IRG. We the king terrorists over here in the Middle East. We gonna make y'all suffer. They don't care about you destroying them. The Iranians' figuration in their mind is that, hey, the Americans eventually gonna come do it anyway. They did it to everybody else in the Middle East, so they gonna do it to us next. So we might as well take the destruction. But as we taking the destruction, so every time America stops firing, Iran start firing again. You said, Ghost, what you talking about? I'm talking about compassion this morning. I'm talking about an 87-year-old supreme leader that you killed. 87-year-old man. Hey, I'm not hating on you killing an 87-year-old man. If that 87-year-old man is not a righteous man, if that 87-year-old man, is a danger to humanity, if that 87-year-old man kills tens of thousands of his own people, but that's a decision that you got to think about and weigh heavily. You think you just happy, you got a God complex, like, oh, I got power over life or death, but you lacking compassion. So, yeah, you right, killing the 87-year-old man and killing his daughter, and you leave his son alive. Compassion, where the compassion at? We not finished, though. We just getting started. Compassion, where the compassion at? We just getting started. Because what I'm talking about is the Iranians came out and called the Americans baby killers. They talking about the 160 Iranian children that died. They hadn't got over that. Baby killers. President Trump, I want to give you a line sight of vision that you have not seen. Let me give you a line sight of vision that you might not have seen. Because this is what I do. I could see stuff that other people ain't seeing. I'm a thinker. I'm going to think about stuff you ain't thinking about. Guess what? President Trump, you ever think about that it's a possibility that this Iranian conflict could outdate your presidency? You ever think about that? It's a very good possibility this conflict could go into the next presidency when a Democrat take over. If a Democrat takes over. If a Democrat or J.D. Vance takes over, I guarantee you they're going to be shutting the war down. They're going to be looking to shut the war down. I think at that point the Iranians will be more open to shutting the war down because they have a strict hatred for President Trump. Let me keep going. When they start negotiating with one of the stipulations they're going to put on the table, President Trump, they want your head. The Iranians want your head. If you look at how the Iranians are depicting President Trump, they got like a coffin. Y'all listen. Y'all see that building right there? That whole building right there. They got a banner that's longer than that building with President Trump in a coffin. The Iranians. Thousands, yeah, they crazy. Thousands of people. He came out and he gave a press gaggle when he was overseas talking about the Iranians with an active plot to kill him. What I'm trying to tell you is you focusing on them killing him with a gun. That's saying I doubt that seriously ever happened. They said that boy in Butler, Pennsylvania, that was the Iranians that attempted to kill President Trump. The FBI told him that I don't know President Trump. If I believe that, I have to see the evidence. But what I'm going to tell you, one thing for certain and two things for sure that I do know. I know there's a chance that this conflict will outdate your presidency. And I know stipulations to peace, President Trump, will be that they make someone pay for those children being dead. General Kane, I would be really cautious moving forward. Because whoever's giving the orders, you know how that go. They're going to be trying to court-martial you. Imagine you being a decorated general in the American military, spending your entire life defending that flag. And you get President Trump as president, a business person who really don't understand the intricacies of politics. We see why it's important. Yeah, you can laugh all you want to, because he talking about doing stuff that any normal American president wouldn't do. I'm a destroy civilian infrastructure. And he's not thinking that the Democrats, you are giving them the very thing. Look, you don't have to worry about the international court getting you, President Trump. You should know this. Them Democrats gonna be the ones who get you for them war crimes. That's who gonna get you for them war crimes. You can laugh all you want to. 160 Iranian kids dead is laughter. That's something to laugh about. Because that's what the Democrats gonna come with. Oh, he attacking civilians' infrastructure. Oh, he went against, we said that Congress voted to stop the war, but he wanted to keep fighting the war. Yeah, they go come at you with some stuff, man. They coming for you. I'm just being honest with you. And you might not see it coming, and you might think you prepared, but the Democrats are coming for you, President Trump. They coming. They coming. They're going to try to charge you with what they like I'm telling you. The baby killing Donald Trump. That's what Iran calling you. Imagine a terrorist nation. A terrorist nation giving you a label like that. The baby killing Donald Trump. The food burning Donald Trump. That's why the Democrats say he evil. I'm saying, General Kane, I wouldn't want to be no part of that. What? You gonna bomb what? And I know that that's gonna be against us. So you finna get that man, he might get court-martialed for that too. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I wouldn't want no parts of that. If you talking about bombing civilian infrastructure and you know it's against the law or international law, and you know the Democrats hate you, you know they got Trump derangement syndrome. You the one taught us what Trump derangement syndrome is. I don't see how you don't see it. They gonna try to burn you alive at the stake. They know you can't be a president again. They know the American people mad about inflation. They know the American people mad about gas prices. They see them pose. The Democrats, they know the American people are ticked off about that war. So why wouldn't they? They tried to get you last time and you made a fool out of them. They spent all their money, the Democrats did, on getting you locked up. They broke nine. Made a fool out of them. Because, bro, you could look at VP Harris being broke all you want to. You could, I mean, not VP Harris, but the Democrats being broke all you want to. But VP Harris raised more money than any president in the history of the United States. So the National Convention could have -2 million. That's other implications on what they supposed to be doing for that president, like door knocking and everything like that. But she, a Democrat, a smart mandami of Barack Obama with $1 billion in donations could win an election without the DNC. I could promise you. $1 billion could do it if you know what you're doing. So don't look at the Democrats' pocketbooks and say, hey, they broke and think that's going to help you win any election in America. The people are the ones who's powering us. And they're going to have the final say. We talking about the passion this morning. I'm saying, Big President T, you burning 500 tons of food, man. That ain't nothing like Jesus, man, for the children. That broke my heart. And you saying that it was for because of the money, but you spend more money burning the food than you do distributing the food. That broke my heart. But I'm saying, listening to a terrorist regime call you a baby killer, that's something totally different. That's something totally different. A terrorist regime. Y'all don't believe me? You could Google it. Go look, put it in YouTube. The baby killing, that's a statement to why they wouldn't let this war come. They don't want the fighting to stop President Trump because they said you a baby killer. Yeah, the Supreme. Listen, imagine a regime who kills thousands, tens of thousands of its own people. Ain't no goodness in this regime, nowhere. They killing tens of thousands of their own people, but they call you a baby killer. Because I'm trying to find what's in the Iranian statement that really makes me believe that they are messed up, that our president, the United States military, made a mistake and hitting a school with 160 kids. That was an error. That's not the U.S. military. That's not what the U.S. military do. And I'm not protecting President Trump in this, but I'm going to be fair about it. President Trump, he didn't order that. You know good well, JD or Secretary Hegseth or General Kane didn't order it, but the Democrats don't care. They don't care. They feel like you being in this war in the first place. I'm saying, listen, if the Democrats, they gon' look, when they take over Congress, at least the House of Representatives, we know they gonna prosecute a case against President Trump. You can say whatever you want to, you know that they gonna prosecute a case against him. What angle they coming from? Are they gonna come for the $2 billion that he made since he been president and said there's improprieties there? Yeah, they coming from that angle. They gonna investigate his kids and stuff, be calling them in front of Congress. What angle they coming from? Are they gonna investigate Tom Homan for that bag of money he took from the FBI? Yeah, they coming from that angle too. What other angles? Are they gonna investigate the killings? Proper investigations and congressional investigations of the killings of Alex Peretti and Renee Good. Yeah, they gonna do that too. What else they coming from? Epstein files. When the Congress take over, they gonna investigate the Epstein files. They might do some of that too. But I'm saying on all the things you got up here on the board, I don't see nothing on the board to where you could prosecute a case against President Trump better than you can the handling of that war. That's the best prosecution the Democrats gonna be able to have against him. The best. Because when you start talking about the Epstein files, listen, the American people have been talking about the Epstein files long enough to where they lost a certain degree of interest. I see that. When I go around talking about it, I see that the American people have lost a certain degree of interest in the Epstein files. So when you start talking about this other stuff, I'm saying the best case to prosecute against him is a case of how he handled that war, or even going to war in the first place. You're the best case. If you get Congress to pass a law to say that he has to end the war or give or take away his war power acts, then the violation of Congress, but the point that you getting at is him fighting the war, and he shouldn't have fought the war, been fighting the war. 160 kids killed, or civilian infrastructure being destroyed for the first time by the American military. You look, when the Democrats come for him, I think that's gonna be their best angle to prosecute him and to impeach him for a third time. Because they had it in their mind, President Trump, and I tried to warn you that they were gonna impeach you for a third time as soon as you got elected. They had it in their mind. But this time, if they smart and they come with their impeachment against you, they'll have the American people behind them. And if they have the American people behind them, President Trump, I think you might be in trouble, big dog. I might be wrong. Even if you win the Senate and the Senate don't convict you because you need 60 senators for that impeachment conviction, the trial, I'm saying even if it have, we saw the last time President Trump was president when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and behind his back she stood up and she tore up his speech. After Nancy Pelosi tore up that speech, President Trump's State of the Union speech, it was downhill for him ever since then. Summer of love, COVID, I'm talking about the Democrats, they're going to throw the book at you. You think you keep laughing. I want you to laugh this time in 2027. Be laughing this time 2027. You guys can't see like I could see. You can't predict like I could predict. You see what I'm saying? You can't see it. I could see it. I could understand it. A lot of things. And I understand that the lack of compassion is a problem in our government. I can't say we had a big lack of compassion when I seen Barack Obama. I couldn't say we had a big lack of compassion over Joe Biden. Joe Biden had too much compassion. You laughing? Yeah, he had too much compassion. Oh, you having problems in your country? We gonna open up the back door. We gonna let all y'all in. I feel sorry for all y'all. Y'all come on in. That's a bleeding heart liberal, boy. Too much compassion. It's a balance. It's a balance. That's too much compassion. Oh yeah, COVID happened, so this is what we gonna do. We just gonna open up the American checkbook and give away all the money so inflation could hit the roof. Too much compassion. Having too much compassion can destroy your country, just like having not enough compassion can destroy your country. You need the right balance. Burning 500 tons of food, President Trump, that's not the balance. Having the Iranians calling you a baby killer for killing 160 Iranian kids is not the balance. That's not the right balance. And we're going to get back to TPS right now, and we're going to get back to immigration right now, and sending Haitians back to a country where barbecue, a dude with the name barbecue, that... Hey, bro, the common sense ain't that common. It don't take a whole lot to be able to see this stuff, man. This dude's name is Barbecue. Imagine, it really ain't funny to them Haitians, but imagine you going back to your country and the new leader of your country, his name is Barbecue and he a gang leader. They needed temporary protected status for what, Ghost? From an earthquake? From a natural disaster? Yeah. So they came to America, they got the status. President Trump said, rightly so, their time is up. But I'm saying, how do they not still have protected status if you sending them back to a nation where the leader of their country's name is Barbecue, like BBQ. That's the leader. You think I'm playing? It sounds funny, bro, but go research it. There's a gang member in Haiti named Barbecue, and he controlling the majority of that 90% that's controlled by gangs in Port-au-Prince. Barbecue. They hadn't had a presidential election or an elected president for 5 years. It's a failed country. It's a failed government. Compassion. That's the word. You know how you don't make a mistake of erring on the side of not having compassion? Listen, having too much compassion, you stupid or a sucker. I'm sorry, Democrats. We look at President Biden like he might be stupid or a sucker. You see what I'm saying? He had too much compassion. What's the problem when you have too much compassion? It's a homeless dude. He might try to get over on you. He might try to hustle you. He might not really be homeless. He might have a bigger house and more money than you. He just got the sign and he panhandling. That's having too much compassion. But not having enough compassion, you more like you are antichrist. Because that's the opposite of Christ. It's not having compassion, because that's what Jesus is about. The Bible is clear that God is a God of passion. Yeah, he might be a God of war. He might be a God of judgment. He's a God of many things. He's a God of justice, but he has compassion. Imagine You being a creator, you created anything and you became what your creator is. You God who became a man to give your life for your creatures. That's compassion, boy. Compassion is the word. You gonna send, do you have a heart for these people at all? Do you even care? Or is what the Democrats saying, are you evil? Compassion. Y'all know when ICE, this is something else that I want y'all to look at. When ICE go to round up them Haitians, y'all already know the Democrats coming with it. So y'all expect to get another shooting or maybe two, or maybe y'all know this would see this is what President Trump can't understand. He thinks that in his mind, when he says something, that he's just a supreme leader that never get checked. That's his biggest problem. He don't think that nobody gonna check him until you got a bullet whizzing by your ear and you realize that this is America, and buddy, you will get checked. You got a bullet whizzing by your ear. You around here listening to idiots, and then you gonna become the next Abraham Lincoln. We trying to make you not be the next JFK, partner. Because it's been about that much time. If you look at history in America, look how many years passed between presidential assassinations, excuse me. The last time we had attempt on a president, from my understanding, an act of Ronald Reagan, right? But we look at the time since we had a president to be killed. From time to time to time. That's what I'm saying. We trying to avoid that because you are not a supreme being. You are not God. You have to realize that. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you realize that you're not God and you get the appropriate compassion in your heart, I think you'll be okay. Because I'm saying, I don't care what you guys say, just like when you went to Minneapolis, and you thought you was going to listen, President, there was a situation, a big fraud case in Minneapolis. I ain't gonna lie, Governor Walz, he messed up. The Democrats are high on Governor Walz within their own self. Oh, he's a cool guy to go drink a beer with. He probably is a cool guy to hang out with. He not a cool guy to be vice president or for the American people. They not finna vote for that. Come on, man, stop being goofy. You know what I'm saying? You being goofy, Governor Walz. You stop being goofy. The American people ain't voting for that. But what I'm trying to tell you though is Governor Walz though, on the other hand, let me get it, don't get it misconstrued. Governor Walz on the other hand though, you know what I'm saying? Like, Irish experience and immigrants. Y'all, I'm gonna get to the comments in just a second. Look, Governor Walz on the other hand though, in my opinion, like, he ain't no greatest politician ever, but he is the governor of the state of Minnesota. So President Trump hear about some kind of situation that happened in Minnesota to where it was some kind of fraud going on with some immigrants or something like that. So he like, oh nah, it ain't no way in the world. Were those Haitians? I hope it wasn't in Minnesota. So he sent ICE in there. Governor Walz and them waiting on you, bro. They got whistles. Every person in Minneapolis got a whistle, and they waiting on ICE to come in their neighborhood so they could blow these whistles. I'm telling you, I don't care. You could laugh, you could whatever you want to. They gonna be waiting on you going after them TPS Haitians. Them Democrats and those liberals, them bleeding hearts, they gon' because they don't think it's right for you to send them back. I don't even know if it's right. You might say you got the legal grounds to do it, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do to send them Haitians back to Haiti right now. What's it gonna hurt for them being in our country? If President Trump, if you got a problem with a lot of them committing crimes, the ones committing crimes, yeah, then go get the Haitians that's committing crimes and kick them out the country. That's what I'm saying. But other than that, I'm saying, where's the compassion, man? You sending these people back to a country where barbecue is the leader. I'm saying, if it was me, what I would say is I'm gonna give them 12 more months. They supposed to be having presidential elections this year or early next year. So we got 300,000 very talented and bright Haitians and Americans. Y'all will have to go back to y'all country in 12 months prepared. The Haitians are going to have elections. Y'all going to get an elected president. Y'all go back and make Haiti great again. 12 months. I'm saying compassion. You got to know how to compromise, man. You got to know how to come to a happy medium where wisdom and God resides. I'm going to come to a medium of understanding. I'm going to come to a point of indemnification or settling the dispute or whatever the problem or the situation is from a place of wisdom and understanding, a happy medium. You want to be strong against crime. You want to enforce immigration, but at the same time, you want to have a heart and you want to be able to understand. You can't be heartless in this. In nowhere in this situation can you be heartless or lack understanding. And nowhere in this situation can you be egotistical or selfish or lack integrity. It's going to fall apart. And that's what's happening for President Trump. They see you over there, made $2.6 billion, yet and still you burning children for food for children for a whole summer. You deporting Haitians back to barbecue land. Barbecue land. Barbecue. Bruh, don't send me back to no country, President Trump, where the leader of the capital city name is Barbecue. Don't send me back to that country. Hey, listen, all I gotta do is, bruh, this argument on Barbie, I can't get past the dude's name. I thought this was like the Malibu's Most Wanted, like some kind of movie or something. Barbecue. What this dude named? Barbecue. Yeah, his name Barbecue. And he a leader of the most vicious Haitian gang. And Barbecue walking around with his shirt off and designer jeans and some Barbecue. And Barbecue got his gang behind him and they all got guns and stuff. And you sending these immigrants that been in America for how long? They done started lives in America. Some of them probably got American children. And you sending them back to barbecue land. You gonna do it this year, President Trump? You gonna start in a couple of months. You gonna add 300,000 Haitians to ISIS playbook or playlist. Y'all get ready for a possibility of maybe some more unjustified ICE killings. Because I don't know if President Trump and them can handle the pressure situations, the pressure that the Democrats are about to put on him. The pressure. You gonna get pressure. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Also, guys, episode number 97 of the Tax to Rich Tour, guys. You know what I'm saying? We got 3 more days and we're going to go to strategizing with Ghost Rider. But meanwhile, in between while, y'all, we still got Friday and Saturday today left. If you guys want to donate to the channel, if you guys like truth, if you guys like real, if you guys like hearing a person who gonna stand on the truth, even at the destruction of oneself, you guys go ahead and hit that button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. Channel memberships are only $2.99. If any of you guys want to become a member of the channel, y'all hit that button with the $sign in it. My boy Chris Hansen versus Predator says it wasn't Democrats who pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. Man, listen, pardoning Juan Hernando Hernandez, I didn't understand that either. You gonna pardon a man that was convicted. You pardoning a man that was convicted of basically the same thing Maduro was convicted of. And at the same time, you using military resources to knock out drug boats and to go after Mexican cartels. I didn't understand that from President Trump. But if you say President Trump's new war on drugs, if that's a war on drugs you think he's fighting, I'll say he's doing not a bad job. I'm saying you can't hate on a man who's saying that. What is he gaining politically out for hitting narco boats? And he ain't gaining nothing politically from doing that. You know what I'm saying? Him going after or evil men, I'm not going to hate on that. Him doing something for Christians, I'm not going to hate on that. Why would, if you a Christian, why am I hate on him doing something for another Christian, or him going after a drug dealer or evil people? I'm not him going after the supreme leader. But what I'm talking about, what the problem American people have is you going after him with no strategy, no good strategy, no strategy. That's the problem. It's the strategy is messed up. There's nothing I ever heard President Trump say to where he was actually wrong in what he was saying. That's why he got elected. Listen, Governor Hochul, because you don't know this, I know this. Governor Hochul got on the phone and called President Biden's administration and told him that he was letting too many illegals into her blue state. Mayor Adams, same thing. That was coming from the Democrats too. Go ask Governor Newsom off the record. They were letting too many illegals in. That ain't no hate on President Biden. How's it a hate on President Biden? That ain't no hate on President Biden at all. Somebody said FBA stands for F-boy administration. If y'all feel like that about I ain't really, listen, I'm not into none of that. If y'all feel like that about President Trump, that's y'all opinion. I mean, why can't he just, even if you don't like him, why can't he, as the office of president of your country, just do the right thing? Why we can't just do the right thing? You got 300,000 Haitians that are set to be deported. I'm not going to send 300,000 Haitians back to a country where they got a dude named Barbecue as the leader. They hadn't had an election in Haiti since 2021. It's a failed nation. What you sending 300,000 people back to that for? That's all I'm saying. It's not that, listen, him saying that we had a problem with immigration, like I just told you, if you ask Governor Hochul, she made a phone call to President Biden's administration about immigration. So saying we had a problem with, that ain't nothing wrong with saying that. We did. For saying we had a problem, Secretary Hayes said, we gonna change it to the Department of War because we haven't been winning wars. We need to win wars. For Secretary Hayes saying that, bro, you pointing out a problem. Doge, we got a $39 trillion debt. Ain't nothing wrong with none of that. That's not what the American people are talking about. We voted for you, big dog, because you was the one that was saying this was wrong and you could fix it. We right. At least you acknowledge. Bernie Sanders said the difference with the Democrats and President Trump is Bernie Sanders didn't say this part. Look, this is what Bernie said. Bernie said the difference with President Trump and the Democrats is that President Trump acknowledged the problem that the Democrats didn't acknowledge the problem. And that's facts. The American people, the national debt. The Democrats saying, why should we make America great again? America's already great. Yeah, two things could be true at the same time. They're different perspectives. Competing things could be true at once. So yeah, he make America great. Yeah, whatever. You acknowledging the problem, but I'm saying, are you the fixing? That's the problem. That's the whole is the fixing. The American people saying he acknowledged the problem. The Democrats ain't acknowledged the problem. He's saying make America great again. We got a $39 trillion debt. The Democrats saying America's already great. Yeah, America's already great, but we do have a $39 trillion debt. We need to do something about that could take from our greatness. But President Trump is fixing the problem. That's the American people, they know he acknowledged the problem, but his solution or answer to the problem, that's what they got a problem with. What I was going to say, Bernie Sanders, he said the Democrats didn't focus on the problem. President Trump, he acknowledged the problem. The thing else I want to say, President Trump acknowledges these problems and he focused on these problems. He had solutions to fix them. Whether or not the execution of those solutions was correct or not is something totally different. The Democrats, they weren't focused on the problem. They were focused on President Trump. Bernie Sanders, you didn't put that part in there. President Trump acknowledged the problem. The Democrats didn't acknowledge no problems besides President Trump. They said President Trump was America's problem. And the American people viewed that and they said, nah, we got problems bigger than President Trump. We got problems with y'all Democrats too. That's what I'm saying. So that's the way I see it, Chris Hansen. You know, Dem Crip Bloods. That's the whole story right now. I know where the CIA right now and the military. I know they saying the same thing right now. Ghost, the reason why we can't, the U.S. military saying, Ghost, the reason why we can't win no wars is because you got politicians that's running things. Instead of letting us go fight the fight, you got somebody telling us how to fight who don't even know how to fight. We the ones know how to fight. You got politicians running things. And when you get politicians running things, what they care about? Democrats and Republicans, Bloods versus the Crips. That's what I call it. The Democrats blue, the Republicans red. They act like two different gangs that's fighting for territory. The Bloods versus the Crips. That's what I'm saying. When we love America, we don't care about nothing about no... Listen, it take a blue and a red and a white to make the USA. It take the Republicans and the Democrats. If you just listening to the Republicans, that's not American. That's Republican. You got your words confused. What's American is Republican and Democrat. That's what America is. America is the collection of Republicans and Democrats. It's like if you tell this to a Democrat, it's like they slow-minded. They don't understand that. If you tell it to President Trump, he thinks America is just MAGA, but that's not America. That's the formation of libertarians and Republicans and independents. That's what MAGA is. It's not America. The Republican Party is not America. America is a collection of Republicans, Democrats, and independents. But nobody who governs seem to know that. President Obama knew it. When President Obama first became president, the dude that he beat, John McCain, he had real serious conversations about letting John McCain join his administration. Serious conversations. John McCain chose not to. But President Obama understood that America was a collection of red states, blue states, and purple states. A collection. A collection. Brooks said Obama was the first gay president. What they said about President Trump, I don't do that. I don't do the personal insults. If you want to talk about policies, I'll talk about policies. Obama the first gay president. Y'all so clowns. Somebody said he married a man and thinks she's a woman. That's why he hates y'all so much. Because y'all talk like this. That's why people have Trump derangement syndrome and people have Obama derangement syndrome. Because y'all talk like this. Bro, come on. Ain't nobody married, no man and no woman. Y'all stop with the little 2-year-old childish stuff, man. Let's stick on policies. Let's throw away the politics and let's stick on the policies. Democrats sent their husbands, fathers, and sons to die in the civil wars to keep blacks enslaved. Yeah, Haven, no name, that's true. But how long ago that happened? How many hundred years ago that happened? Oh, they must have fought the war to keep blacks and slaves in the 1960s. JFK, that was JFK who was doing that in the 60s. He was trying to keep black people enslaved by empowering or helping to empower Martin Luther King. Y'all don't know JFK did that, huh? Not at first, but in the end, what his brother was doing. What ended up happening, they ended up passing laws, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. How many litigators I have in this live stream? How many civil rights people I have in this live stream? One of the greatest laws that we write was wrote when the Democratic administration, the Democratic John F. Kennedy, his attorney general, Democrats have been helping protect. Yeah, Democrats did enslave blacks, but they made up for it. They came back and they changed and they said, hey, we made some errors. Instead of coming out and just saying publicly, we apologize to you black people. We gonna help y'all from here on out. Democrats ain't just helping blacks. They help gays. They help transgenders. They help any and all marginalized people. Somebody said, send what to Megyn Kelly? What's wrong with Megyn Kelly? What's she doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? Listen, Megyn Kelly, she been standing up for President Trump for into the war. They don't support the war. They don't believe in when you recruit people into your organization called Make America Great Again, and you think these people just love you. You don't understand. Every president, if I ran for president and I got nominated, I'm going to get the same kind of love. It's about the policy, the politics. It's about America. The presidency, the office of the presidency is the greatest symbol of America we have. That's a representation. President Trump, you are America's top representative. You represent America on the world stage. Congress does too. You guys don't realize that. They do. And they're taught and told that, trained that. But I'm saying President Trump's the biggest representative of America. You got to realize that. So I'm saying, if you got this organization, they all happy about America, President Trump become president, and then all of a sudden you think these people turning on you. Nah, you turn on them, big dog. Your ideas. You weren't gonna fight no foreign wars. You was the peace president. You was the one who gonna call Putin on day one. You called him and ain't nothing happened. You was the one who was gonna end the war in the Middle East. Not only do y'all know, he said if he was president, October of 2023 wouldn't have happened to Israel. That's what he said. Not only the Muslims did you end the war you didn't end the war in the Middle East. You started a bigger war than what was going on before. That's what I'm saying. That's what you can't get mad at Megyn Kelly or Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. They went to bat with you for you. They were calling VP Harris all kind of ungodly names and calling Michelle Obama all kind of ungodly names. Megyn Kelly and them went to bat for you, dog. Come on, man. Where your loyalty at? You know this. What's my girl name? Marjorie Taylor Greene went to bat for you, my guy. She was big Donald Trump. She your biggest fan or your biggest supporter, even though your fans President Trump, this not The Apprentice. On The Apprentice, even if they your fans, they want to see, they like you because of the show. You know how many of y'all like Drake in this live stream? He just a musician, or Michael Jackson. I'm saying you like the guy, you concerned with his personal life. I know this girl, she was the biggest Drake fan I ever seen in my life. She was fanned out. Posters on the wall and everything. This is a 25-year-old woman. You like the guy, you amazed with him, his personal life, but what makes you like him is that music. When that music sours, unless that girl wants to sleep with Drake or something, they not gonna rock with you no more. Your music trash now, bruh. That's what they love. President Trump, they loved you for your ideals. It was the idea of you more than it was you personally. He might feel like, hey, I know Megyn personally, though, Ghost. I don't know you personally. I know Tucker personally. I know them personally. But President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's your ideals. It's your ideas. It's that presidency. It's the office of the presidency. It's the patriotism and the love of their nation. I believe Tucker loves his country. That's what I believe. I believe Tucker see a full error in his ways. I believe Tucker see the mistakes he made on Fox News from going from having the #1 program on cable television to having a top, 20 show on YouTube on the internet. I think he see the error in his ways and his support and love for the Republican Party. But you don't think because y'all, 39% of y'all want to fight this war, the other 61% of us that don't want to fight this war, we not less patriots. I don't want to see what happened to America. We can't keep losing to a ragtag organization like the Taliban. We can't keep doing that. I know Russia lost to them too, and China's military probably would have lost to them too. It's not like no other military probably would have done better than America did against Afghanistan or in Afghanistan. But I'm saying the American people, our love for our country, we don't envision our country fighting wars in the Middle East for the next 100 years. That's the only problem that Tucker has with President Trump. President Trump are taking it personal, like Megyn Kelly got something against you personal. No, these people really believe to make America great again and no foreign wars. And then you go fight the biggest war of them all by ourselves. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how Saudi Arabia has joined the Americans in the war. That's what we need. Because the more nations, President Trump, you get on your side, you're going to put that crunch and that pressure on the Iranians. You get Saudi in the war, who else you been selling jets to over there in the Middle East? They need to come help you. I wouldn't say get Turkey, but imagine Turkey, Saudi Arabia. Imagine Saudi Arabia. Who would have ever thunk in 1980s you got Muslim on Muslim? You got Muslims united with Israel to fight against Iran. Who would have ever thought that would have happened? Saudi Arabia, you got Muslims who start, we know Sunni and Shiites, and we know they hate each other probably more than they hate the Israelis. But you got the Saudi Arabia, you got their military, they join in on the action. Iran said they want to get the United Kingdom involved. I'm trying to see, I believe China and Russia, Xi and Putin are kind of dictating what's going on in Iran. I really believe that. Guys, have y'all heard that this is a report that the Iranian supreme leader is no longer living in Iran? Where he at? They didn't tell us that. All I seen on the report, it said the Iranian supreme leader is no longer living in Iran. Where he at? Where he at? Where he at? Well, he in Russia? Possibly. He in China? Possibly. Wherever he at, I believe he's sitting there with Putin or Xi or the combination of them, and they making their battle plans against America. That's what I believe. I really believe that. I believe it's a greater strategy to diminish American power, not only in the region, but on the world stage completely. It's a greater strategy. What China's doing is saying, and listen, America got a greater strategy of getting at China and Russia. President Trump, they outsmarting you. You know, he over there saying, hey, you know, Putin my friend, Xi my friend, but really what he doing is, he going after all his friends, and Putin and Xi, that's why they not listening to that friend stuff. They know, oh yeah, you our friend, but you going after our little buddy Venezuela. You our friend, and you going after our little buddy Iran. You see what I'm saying? They recognize that. They understand that. And that's the situation President Trump got himself in, man. It's a horrible situation for him politically, but it's a worse situation for the United States on the world stage. Because who wants American military to keep looking like we did in Afghanistan? There's no wins in that. You spend too much money. You spending too much money. You borrowing money to fight the war. Over 600 Americans have been injured. 18 or more are dead. You spending billions and billions of dollars. I'm saying, like, I could come up with 1,000. That's what Megyn Kelly's problem is. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene's problem is. That's what Candace Owens' problem is. That's what Tucker Carlson's problem is. That's what the Republicans' problem is, who's turning against President Trump. It's not nothing against him personally. We thought that you didn't want to fight no more wars in the Middle East. That's what we thought. You tricked us. You duped us. That's their problem with him. This ain't nothing about no. If you talking about Megyn Kelly talking about deporting, listen, Megyn Kelly might be talking about deporting all those Haitians, okay? That might be how she feel. I'm saying, what can you say? You could do the, listen, y'all need, I see now, somebody said send this to Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly might not have the appropriate compassion for people. She might not, I don't know. Megyn Kelly, have you ever been poor in your life? You know, white people, they all tell a story of being poor. They all want to have a story like how we have. I promise you. If you hear the story of a man who was born in South Africa, he came to America, he invented PayPal, he took over Tesla, he took over X, and he invented Starlink and became a trillionaire. We all gonna want that story, right? So who don't want the story about a boy born in Bedford-Stuy in Brooklyn, New York, to extreme poverty, or a boy born in the south side of Chicago in extreme poverty and end up that's the American dream when we see these black kids who came from the ghetto and they walking around with $1 million watches on like Jay-Z. He is an embodiment of the American dream as much so as anyone else. As much so as the man who going to work 9 to 5. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, who don't want to look at and say, hey, you know, but I'm saying, Megyn Kelly, we don't know if you ever struggled in your life. You know how you want, you know who the best person to help a drug addict. Hold on a second. Hey, sir, who's the best person that can help a drug addict stop doing drugs? You heard what my boy said. You heard what my boy said. A random person. You know who, I said, see, you got to get these smart people. You know, in New York, they just be, they're naturally smart. He's just smart. They naturally smart. I asked my boy, you couldn't hear him because he real humble and he got a soft voice. He working in this part. And I said, sir, I see y'all heard it. Who's the best person to help somebody who's a drug addict? He said, probably another person who's a drug addict. That's why Jesus Christ became a human. Because who else could help a human better than a human? If you a Martian, what can you do for a human? You have no clue. Even God, who created humans and who knew all the intricacies of a human being, even he decided that he needed to become a human to better understand humans. Who understands an alcoholic better than someone who used to be an alcoholic? A man who ain't never drunk no alcohol, he don't understand the plight and the struggle of a man who's an alcoholic. So if you were born a billionaire and you probably never been to a grocery store in your life, how you gonna understand what that woman with 3 kids who's single going through in Queens? You don't understand her struggle. You can't tell her not to get a job. She got a job. She got 2 kids. She not perfect. She made mistakes. She's single, but she trying to make it. President Trump don't understand her struggle. He don't get it. He was born a billionaire. Has he ever went to a grocery store? Does he even pump gas in his car? He don't even pump gas in his car. I'm talking about when he wasn't president, he did. He a billionaire. He was born rich. He don't understand it. Megyn Kelly, that's what I'm saying. You don't understand it. Barack Obama, he understood what it was to be poor. Does that make sense? Megyn Kelly, she don't get it. She ain't never been poor. I could almost guarantee you, she'll come out with a story. Oh, my family was a hard-working family. We only made $120,000 a year. We were poor. To a white person, making $120,000 a year is poor. It's poor. $120,000 a year to her is poor. She don't understand it. She can't have no compassion. She don't get it. We not talking about people who don't understand it. Megyn Kelly on the Haitian and the TPS ain't no different than President Trump. She don't get it. You might as well just don't skip over talking to people like that and just keep talking to President Trump. Because President Trump, he separated from them on that Iran war. He just separated the wrong way. He should have came ghost way. Shawty can swing my way. Hey, you feel me? He could separate because obviously he don't care what Megyn and Tucker and them talking about because he doing what he want to do. That's who President Trump is. So I'm saying if he separated on them, he could separate with them on TPS too. He just need to swing our way. Because it ain't no way for him to try, no reason for him to try to like please Tucker and them. Tucker have already made it clear that he ain't no longer a Republican. I guess Megyn Kelly, she's still trying to hold on. Candace says she's not voting Republican this time either. I guess Megyn Kelly, she's still trying to hold on. All I'm trying to say is that she don't understand nothing about no compassion. You ain't gonna understand if you never had to struggle for nothing. You ain't gonna get it. That's why when God came to this earth, he didn't come to this earth as a king. He could have. He's God, Jesus. When he came to this earth, he didn't come to this earth as a full-grown man or as a rich man. He came to this earth preaching against rich people and helping the poor. Jesus, you calling yourself a Christian, and you got a problem with me saying tax the rich, because that's what Jesus believed. Yeah, he said it's harder, it's easy for a camel to enter into the eye of a needle. Think about that. A camel, you know how big a camel is? A camel bigger than a horse, boy. It's easier for a camel to enter into the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. That's what Jesus was preaching. And at the meantime, in between time, he was feeding and helping the poor. He was loving the unlovable. That's what he was doing. That's what Jesus was doing back then. Yeah, so I'm saying, why don't we practice some of that, Megyn Kelly? I'm saying, if you a racist, we understand why you want to get the Haitians out of America. If you a racist, we get it. If you a racist, we know you don't want no black people, more black. You probably feel like we got too many Negroes over here already. Oh, it's too many Negroes over there. We don't want to hear about Megyn Kelly if she being racist, man. We don't care. I ain't finna discuss with no racist. I'm gonna try to sue you. That's what I'm gonna try to do to a racist. She gonna, of course, say she not being racist, but I'm saying, Megyn Kelly, let me look at your platform or look at what you got going on, and let me see the lack of racism in it. You know how you could look at CNN's platform? I ain't never heard nobody call CNN racist. You know how you could look at CNN's platform and you could see the lack of racism in their platform. I could look at Tucker's platform and I see the lack of racism. Even though Tucker, I would say you should interview more black people. I ain't even gonna say that about Candace. And these are Republicans. I'm saying, Megyn, let me look at your platform and see the lack of racism. Byron Donald is a black man. He a black conservative. But there's no racism in his platform. He not as black as some would like him to be, like Jasmine Crockett and other politicians. But I'm saying, I heard Byron Donald separate from President Trump. See, Byron Donald would be a great president, like J.D. Vance would be a great president if you're looking for a Republican, because they've been poor before and they've been through the struggle. J.D. Vance is a millionaire now. So even though he's not a billionaire like his buddy Elon, he's a millionaire. So he knows how it feels to be rich or wealthy. And at the same time, J.D. Vance, he done struggled and been poor. So he knows how it is to be poor as well. That's someone who will be more balanced and have more of an understanding of the majority or the greatest majority of the American people. See, President Trump has an understanding of the plight of billionaires or millionaires or rich people. If you go talk to President Trump about what a rich man goes through in America, I guarantee you he could write 1,000 books on that, because he knows some bad things that happens to rich people. It's bad things happen to all people, not just the poor. It's bad that happen to the rich. People prejudice you because you have money. They treat you bad just because you have money. They discriminate on you and they target you just because you have money. President Trump could tell you all them stories, but the stories about being broke or poor and not having nothing, he don't understand. Oh, the stock market good, the economy's good, that's all he knows. The stock market good, so everybody's doing fine. Yeah, President Trump, everybody in your administration is doing excellent. Ain't none of them the people we talking about. They all got money. You don't understand the language of people who make $80,000 a year. I understand a rich man saying, hey, I can't understand your language. You make too little money, but not an American president, though. That's an American president. Remember Jesus, imagine if you God. You not ghostwriter, you God. You are God. I'm trying to demonstrate because I want to see how this feel like. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Song of Solomon. I'm trying to get wise. I ain't like you. I ain't studying that stupid stuff. I ain't praying for the money. I'm praying for wisdom. I want to be the smartest dude on the face of the earth. That's what my prayer is. Listen, I'm trying to see how this feel like to be God. I can't understand that part. But I'm saying, look, y'all, I'm on my knees in this part. You see what I'm saying? I want to see how it feel like to be God, to get down on your knees and to wash one of your creatures' filthy, dirty feet. Wash her feet. Megyn Kelly, you a Christian? Show me a demonstration, Megyn Kelly. You a Christian, right? You Christ-like. Y'all, they quick to say, Christ is king, God, Christ is king. But you don't act like Christ. Megyn Kelly, you a Christian? Get down on your knees and be like your Savior. And wash a homeless person's feet on your TV show. Do something like that. You couldn't challenge Ghost to do that. I might have gloves on, or I might try to be like Jesus and don't put no gloves on. The only reason why I would do it is because Jesus did it. I'm different than you. Y'all read or see something and you trying to understand it. I'm going to get down there and do it myself to experience it. I don't believe what y'all saying about the city of New York. I need to come live in the city myself to experience it. That's why I'm smarter than you. You see what I'm saying? Just like the Song of Solomon, all those different experiences give you wisdom. That's where wisdom comes from. God, it comes from experience. God teaching you through experience. That's where wisdom comes from. So I'm saying the more experiences, different experiences you have, the broader range of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you will have. Yeah, that's where it comes from. If your whole life you was a school bus driver, then what you know about how to work in a restaurant or a warehouse? You don't know nothing about it. You could, as a 40-something-year-old or 50-something-year-old, you could tell me what you've heard people say or what you assume it would be like, but you don't know what it's like. Somebody who worked in 50 different industries. I know what it's like to be a school bus driver. I didn't drive a school bus, but I drove vehicles before for companies. You see what I'm saying? I know what it's like to work in a warehouse, to work in the kitchen, to work for a cell phone company. I know what it's like. That's how I could come on your job, and on day one, I could do almost anything on almost any job. I know what it's like to work at a law firm and do legal documents like a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? I know what it's like. If I get hired by your law firm, all you got to do is teach me the way y'all do it. Because I know how to do it. I know what it's like. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how you gain knowledge. Megyn Kelly don't have that knowledge because she ain't never went through nothing. She was a little girl. I don't even know her or her story. And I know she'll probably come out, oh, that ain't my story. We went through a struggle. Everybody went through a struggle. The struggle they talking about, they were making $120,000 a year instead of $120 million or $1.2 million a year they make now. Instead of making $1.2 million goes to millions, I'm worth $10 million, Megyn Kelly. I don't know how much she worth, but we making $120,000 a year. We're going through such a big struggle. She don't understand the struggle. She don't understand staying in an apartment with no electricity with the rats and the roaches, boy. She don't understand that. Megyn Kelly don't understand that. Megyn Kelly don't understand staying in an apartment with no electricity with the rats and the roaches. Let me explain something to you. I'm gonna tell you how we understand that. President Trump, you need a free little dirt. You know what I'm saying? I think he learned his lessons, and you need to let Lil Durk out of prison. I'm gonna tell you why. Accused killer grew up in strict poverty on the south side of Chicago. He won the lottery. He made it out and became a multi-millionaire. With his multi-millions, he go get 10 Escalades. And you know where he pull up at? He want to be like President Trump. He pulled up to New York City to Trump International. Nah, that's not where he pulled up at. Where he pull up at, Ghost? I'm talking about the boy. He is from the hood, and he worth millions now. You know what most black people do nowadays? When they get money like that, they over here living what they did what Ghost did. They on the Upper West Side over here with the white people. Nah, I came over here with no money. But I'm saying most black people, when they get money, that's what they do. You gonna leave Queens, you gonna leave Brooklyn, you gonna leave Harlem, and you gonna go stay on the Upper West Side, the Upper East Side, where the money at. That's what black people do. Go to Beverly Hills. That's what they do. Go to Florida, buy a big old house. You know what Lil Durk did? He took them 10 Escalades and he pulled right back up in the hood. I'm worth 40 million, boy. I got $10 million. And I'm over here chilling in an apartment with rats, roaches, and no electricity. Right back in the same place that made me who I am. That's what you call real. You see, you need a man like that with that $40 million and a million on his arm. But see, he ain't like this one. I don't want to say white. He not like Megyn Kelly with your 40 million and your $1 million watch. See, the difference between Lil Durk and you, Megyn Kelly, with your 40 million and your $1 million watch, you ain't never went through a struggle. Struggle builds character. You know that? A struggle builds character. Don't have enough food to eat. I'm kicking it with 3 homies. And I just went to the store because I just got some money and I went and got a snack cake and some potato chips. Megyn Kelly don't know this story. She ain't finna share nothing. Megyn Kelly, you wouldn't survive 15 seconds in the hood. And I'm saying you can't hate on that. My little niece, my little precious niece, my baby I was telling you about, she about 15, 16, now she getting bigger. Baby girl, bro, she probably don't understand this either. Cause she live in a nice house. And she probably almost anything she asked her daddy for, daddy got it for her. I'm saying, you know, her daddy, he like 60 and she like 15. You know how that go, man. Them parents, man, that's a little girl, man, and that's his baby, man, and he in his 60. You know daddy gonna get anything he want to for his baby girl. And if Malia was my daughter, I would get her anything her little heart desires she asked daddy for. I understand that. You see what I'm saying? So she might not get it either but what I'm trying to tell you is somebody, Megyn Kelly, definitely not going within our own family. You got a child like I'm telling you about, my little niece, baby girl, she ain't never had to hurt or struggle for anything. She can't say that about her own brother. Her brother then had to go through some struggles. Them people who go through them struggles, that builds character. Let me get back to the boy in the hood who just went to the store and got a snack cake and some potato chips, and he got his 2 homeboys with him. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no food. Megyn Kelly ain't used to sharing. You know that snack cake, this is my money. That snack cake and them chips, we splitting that 3 ways. That's how we do it where we from. That's how poor people do. You learn to share when you poor. How you learn to share if you got $1 million? They not learning to share. You know why Puff Daddy coming back to the hood, passing out $100 bills, thousands, Drake giving away scholarships, because they went through a struggle and they understand how it feels to struggle. That's why they do that. That's why they do that. They understand. They understand the struggle. I've been through it before. I understand what that homeless man going through. Jesus understood what it's like to be a human. Jesus understand what it's like to be hungry. You think Jehovah Jireh, a spirit, understands what it's like to be hungry. He looking at his creation, and some things about them he don't understand. So he became a man and one of them so he could get it. Y'all remember me asking the dude, who's the best person to help a drug addict or a drunkard? Another drug addict or a drunkard. Who's the best person to help the poor in America? Another poor man in America. He gonna tell you what he need. President Trump don't know what they need. He just guessing. He don't know what they need. President Trump don't know how to help somebody who is disabled veteran. What policies have the Republicans introduced to help disabled veterans? Oh, they got one now. Yeah, Ghost, I talk about it all the time. About time you should have some policies. But we not going to hate on President Trump. I'm going to do a live stream about that. That ain't nothing wrong with that. Help the veterans. He don't have policy. He tried to come up with something to help people on Social Security. Said no tax on Social Security. You going to let them keep $100 a month? And most people don't even pay taxes on their Social Security anyway. That ain't do nothing to help nobody on Social Security. He ain't got no policies to help them. Who knows how to help somebody on Social Security? Go somebody on Social Security. How President Trump know how to survive in America on a $1,300 a month? President Trump, he gonna help somebody because he knows how to survive in America on $1,300 a month. You look, that's why VP Harris was selling the idea that she worked at McDonald's. And President Trump was going to McDonald's and going to the dump truck because he's trying to demonstrate to you that he understands your plight, but he didn't. And you should have knew that. A billionaire ain't gonna understand what I'm going through. Unless you're a billionaire or a millionaire or on your way to becoming one. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Megyn Kelly, she gonna say deport all the Haitians, send them back. She don't understand what it's like to be poor. Megyn Kelly don't understand what it's like to live in a third world country. Give me a person from a third world country who's been poor and let them come tell me to send them back. Because I'm not from a third world country, but I've been poor. And common sense tell me they got a president or a leader named Barbecue. That tell me everything I need to know. If they're here due to temporary protected status, temporary protected, that means that something in their country is not right. And so the earthquake is over with, we say, and we gonna send them back, and they got a president named Barbecue. It's still not right. Maybe if I'm President Trump, you could give me a year. Give him one more year, Ghost. Because listen, I'm gonna give y'all 1 year. But in order for you to stay in America, you gotta come check in. And we gotta know where every last one of y'all are. I'm gonna give y'all 90 days to check in with the U.S. ICE. And we know where you are in America at all times, because after that 12 months, I'm gonna deport you. If you don't come check in, we're gonna come find you and deport you right now. But come check in, and I'll give you 12 months in this country to get yourself ready to go back to Haiti. And if I'm President Trump and I had a heart, I'm gonna make that bed a lot easier for them to go lay in when they go back to their country. Yeah, where's the aid package to Haiti at? Where's that? President Trump said he want to go to heaven. Y'all, you want me to play the words? Don't be a hater. Don't hate on the man. It ain't your heaven. You done wrong in your life before. So you can't tell me that man can't go to heaven. You not God. It's not your heaven. God told him that he gonna forgive anybody who calls upon his name. And after you call upon his name, President Trump, you want to go to heaven. Let me tell you what your creator care about. He care about his people. He care about his creation. That's what your creator care about. Jesus care about these humans. He care about these children. He care about these people. That's who Jesus care about. I'm not going to, you can't listen to the imbecile. You can't listen to the brains, somebody with imbecile brains. That's our problem. We keep listening to imbeciles. We need a crazy person to run our country because President Trump looked crazy. To most Americans, President Trump looked clinically insane. But at least he had the ideas that our country was messed up. He just got the wrong way to fix it. Y'all might need a crazy person to run your country. Because listen, you said a crazy, but you got a $39 trillion debt. Who crazy? You calling me crazy, but our nation got a $39 trillion debt. Which one look more crazy? I might be, look, I got a disability. I'm saying he walked by and said that crazy, but he wasn't talking to me. You can't call me crazy. He gonna get sued. You can't use a derogatory word against. But hey, say I'm crazy though. You feel me? Say I'm crazy. I don't care. I tell everybody I got a mental disability. You go around calling them crazy people with mental disability. That show your heart. That show you what you are. That's our whole conversation this morning. Yeah, somebody down below said something about Megyn Kelly. I'm sorry, I ain't find the comment, but yeah, we talking about. Yes, sir. You want me to move out?
No, I don't want to. I just don't want
a little bit of space.
I don't want to disrupt you.
You not. You helped me a lot when you answered that question for me earlier, though. Because that's facts, though, huh? I'm saying, how can a billionaire help the poor people in America? He don't know what it's like to be poor. Am I right or wrong?
You gotta walk in somebody's shoes
to understand what they've been through. You see what I'm saying? But you know that. We know that, bro. They just ain't getting it, bro. They not getting it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not getting it. That's what the problem is. That's why your military losing to the Taliban, because you not getting it. Every time you come attack me, I'ma remind you of how stupid you are. Every time you get a moment where you feel like you smart and you could come say something to me, I'ma remind you of how stupid you are. How much you have destroyed our country. How hard y'all destroyed our country. I'ma remind you every time you come try to get something off to me. Yeah, I'm crazy, but Megyn Kelly, I'm not crazy as you, baby girl. If you talking about deporting people back to a country where barbecue is their leader, you don't have no compassion. I bet you my mama wouldn't do that. Look, my pastor is a hardline Republican. And I guarantee you his first mind is to deport them people. But I bet you in the end, well, excuse me, not my pastor, my ex-pastor. But I bet you in the end, my ex-pastor, he ain't gonna deport them people. Not when we come talk to him, I bet you he ain't gonna do it. Because see, the thing about a real man of God, or a man that we believe is a real man of God, he gonna try to do the right thing, whether it's in his interest or against his interest, because he care and he love God. It's about God, it ain't about him. Just like President Trump's supposed to represent America, it's about America, it's not him. That preacher's supposed to represent God, it's supposed to be about God, not him. I guarantee you, once you present it to him in the right light, conservative or not, you ain't finna be burning no food for no children. And you not finna be deporting no Haitians back to no what President Trump called SHIT whole country. You're not gonna do neither of the two. And I believe that in my whole heart, bruh. It's about compassion this morning. That's what we started off talking about. That's what we gonna end talking about. Do you have enough compassion? You said barbecue was killed. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that telling me that. I didn't know that, Tris King, but I gotta go check on that. I gotta check on that. He said barbecue. Okay. I pinned that comment. Now you talking some language that I understand. I understand what you're saying. As long as you're doing that, not just barbecue, you need to kill more than barbecue. You need to get them out the way. As long as you're doing that, I understand. That makes sense. You're not as crazy as you said I was. For real. As long as barbecue, you get barbecue, you need to lay down as many of that destruction as they got. Why hadn't the international community sent a force to Haiti to keep the peace? They don't have an elected leader for 5 years. I'm saying, why hadn't the world community sent billions of dollars to Haiti? And they need more than billions. They need help running their country. Why hadn't y'all done this? Okay, you said barbecue kills, so obviously you saying, okay, we trying to, that lets me know at least you care a little bit. If barbecue was killed, at least they care, y'all care a little bit. But I'm saying you need to make that as pleasant as possible for them to return to their own country. Come on, man. Why they let barbecue stay in power that long anyway? You letting a country that's right below your border, Haiti, your neighbor, being ran by a dude named Barbecue. What? So y'all should have been done that. So if I get what you saying, Triskin, you saying I'm not getting it. Yeah, I'm getting it. I'm starting to get it since you said that. Y'all should have been down there in the comments and seen your comments, seen you saying that. I appreciate you saying that. Someone said barbecue is alive, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so you heard what Triskin said. The CIA got some work to do. That's what Triskin just said. If barbecue is still alive, Triskin just told y'all, he just said it without me getting it, because I'll never come on here and tell you to murder somebody. I'll never come on here and tell you that. That's against the law, even in Haiti. But we talking about what's best for the world. You got to give it some time so you could try to help fix that situation. That's how I see it, without you giving it some time. I'm saying we just gonna send them people back to a country where barbecue is the leader and the Bloods and the Crips are running. I mean, imagine you sending them back to Maryland. Say they from Maryland. And barbecue is the leader in DC and the Bloods and the Crips running the streets, 90%. And you coming back, listen, those Haitian gangs, they gonna be waiting for those TPS people to come back to Haiti, trust me. They'll be at the airport waiting for them to touch down to extort them. You think them Haitian people, those Haitian gangs, don't know that those American Haitians or former American Haitians or those TPS Haitians, you don't think they know the Haitians coming in for America got some money? Some of these Haitians been lawyers and doctors and nurses and teachers in America. They got savings, just like any professional person do. So yeah, they might go back to Haiti and President Trump thinking, hey, the lawyer, you did good in America. You got $80,000 in the bank. And Haiti, you gonna be the richest person on the island almost. But what you don't understand, President Trump, you're not thinking about, yeah, barbecue gonna be waiting on them TPS if he's still alive. Barbecue gonna be waiting on them TPS people to get off the airplane, because he know they got money. He ravaging and pillaging. He ravaging and pillaging. He ravaging and he pillaging his own people. Someone who do that, I don't like it. Look, if you look at America, you look at President Trump, and y'all would say that about President Trump. Oh, he made $2.6 billion. He corrupt. I hear a lot of Democrats say that. They try to make it seem like, and some of it to a certain true, that President Trump has been ravaging and pillaging America. You know, America's a lot more richer than Haiti, so it's easier to steal money from America. See, I don't agree with all that. Y'all looking at President Trump, he not barbecue. That's what I'm telling you. He not BBQ. You know what I'm talking about? BBQ, he out there ravaging and pillaging his own people. Listen. I could understand the government before barbecue. I always understand everybody's position. I understand the government before barbecue. I understand that they weren't doing nothing for the people either. That's what helped barbecue come to power. You feel me? But what I'm saying, barbecue, we know you ain't finna do nothing for the people. You worse than Maduro. Y'all see all these countries in South America. This is one of the last thoughts I'm gonna share with y'all. Y'all see all these countries in South America who have governments that look like governments in the Middle East. It's like the world's turning to authoritarianism. Tell me I'm wrong. Maduro. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not so much in Colombia, but we see what's happening in Haiti, all across. Look, democracy is still standing, but we don't know for how long democracy is going to stand. So if democracy does give place to authoritarianism, I agree with what the Democratic Socialists is saying. If we're going to change the system, let's change it more towards a better democracy than moving towards one man who's going to rule or lead. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody talking about Megyn Kelly. Who talking about Megan Kelly? I've been finished talking about Megan Kelly. Somebody jumped in the live stream. I'm going to pin this. I'm crazy because I'm talking about Megan Kelly. I'm not studying Megan Kelly. Somebody, they keep in the bottom talking about Megan Kelly. Megan Kelly is one of the loudest opponents, I assume, for the TPS Haitians to get sent back to Haiti. You see what I'm saying? So somebody down there saying, hey, talk to Megan Kelly, or you don't know. Bro, I ain't got nothing against Megan Kelly or none of her policies, none of that. I just got something for her. I got something in my heart for people who are going through a struggle, because I went through a struggle in my life. You see what I'm saying? I got something for people who are indigent because I was indigent, or I'm indigent in my life. You see what I'm saying? Who you gonna get? Listen, I hadn't been in a situation to where, you know what I'm saying, you talking about having hundreds of thousands in the bank. So you can understand the plight of a rich man, but listen, if we were talking about compassion, how much compassion does Elon Musk need from you financially? He don't need no compassion from you, not financially. Every human being needs to see compassion and love, but I'm saying as far as financially, he don't need no compassion. We want to give all the compassion to the billionaires and to the people who hurting and struggling. We want to spit on them. That's what Jesus did, huh? Well, Christian nation. Elon don't need no compassion. A billionaire don't need no compassion when it comes to finances. He got all the compassion he needed and some. The people who need the help or the compassion or the love or the understanding are the ones who don't have. And that's what we saying, those Haitian TPS people, yeah, they're not American, Megan Kelly, but they still humans. They're not Americans, but they're humans though. They're not Americans, but they got souls. They got lives, man. They got feelings. They got families. They got all of the above, the same thing just like we do. That's what I'm saying. You got to realize that that's what compassion is. And if you ain't never been through nothing in your life, then how would you have compassion? You don't understand it. You gonna call me crazy because you don't understand compassion. Compassion is a foreign word to you. You gonna call me crazy because you don't understand compassion. When you start talking like this to some people, yeah, that's what they do, because they know they don't have no compassion in their hearts or souls. They don't have no compassion. So you know what I'm going to do to somebody like that? I'm going to lash out at him. He crazy. Integrity, he talking about integrity. He crazy. Compassion, he talking about compassion. He crazy. Yeah, I am crazy because we don't have no compassion in our government. Yeah, I am crazy because we don't have no integrity in our government. I'm crazy enough to think that I could change the world. I'm crazy enough to have hope in a new future, in a new America. I'm crazy enough to challenge wrong. And I'm not challenging it. It might sound like I'm a Democrat right now, or I'm united with the Democrats, but I'm not challenging it, man. I love my country. I love America, man. And that's what this is all about, man. I appreciate y'all, man. 2 hours we've been streaming. Episode number 97. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be live with episode number 98. And then on Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern and at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live with episodes number 99 and 100 of the Tax to Rich Tour New York City. Also, guys, I want to let you guys know that on Friday, that will be tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time, Tax to Rich number 10. That's our last vlog of the tour. I came, I saw, I conquered. That's 101 live streams. That's 100 short stories and 10 vlogs in 90 days. You might find a couple of people recording content like that on YouTube. You talking about over 1 billion people uploading content and streams and videos. You might find somebody out of 1 billion who put that content up like ghosts, but you won't find that many. Not that many. 210 videos in less than 90 days. YouTube wanted me to create content. I'm a content creator. That's what I did, Tax the Rich Tour. We're going to strategizing with Ghostwriter, guys. We probably do that August, September, and October, and maybe part of November. You guys got to give me a second to work on my cases and get my cases to the right point. What's up, baby? If we keep speaking about the TPS situation, it's no way in the world I could see you sending them people back in a situation that they in or that they was in, sending them back to that spot. What's up, baby? What you doing? You cooling?
Yeah.
But man, that's my time, man. Remember that Christ is King, man. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, man. This big Ghostwriter, I'm out. I'll see y'all in... What's up?